The human world called it New Year's Eve, but below the winter-chilled waves of the Cyrenean deep, they called it the tide turn. It was the night the old ocean sighed out its final breath of the year and drew in the new, a night of swirling currents, bioluminescent blooms, and Merfolk tradition. But Lyra, with scales the color of abalone shell and a spirit too vast for the quiet grottos, dreamed of more. She dreamed of their celebration, the booming sky candles, the great gathering in the harbor city, the collective shout that seemed to shake the very stars. "It's reckless," her elder sister sighed, stringing glowing moon jellies along their coral archway. "The surface is frozen and it's January. You'll get beached." "I won't go to the surface," Lyra said, a sly smile playing on her lips. "I'll bring the celebration down here." Her plan was as grand as it was mad. The centerpiece was the great bell of the Avalon, a sunken galleon that lay in the midnight trench. For 3 centuries it had been silent. Lyra, with the help of a dozen brawny dolphin friends, had spent weeks rigging a network of resilient kelp ropes to its clapper. The other end was tied to the ancient, dormant magma vent under the Plaza of Spires, their grandest meeting place. Word spread through the frond and fin networks. A tide turn like no other. In the plaza, merfolk from all clans began to gather. Warriors from the hammerhead ridges draped themselves in nets of captured starlight. Plankton began to meticulously gather. The scholarly octopodians arranged floating orbs that changed color with sonar pulses. Vendors sold spiral shells filled with fermented Kelp-Nectar, and the air fizzed with anticipation. Lyra took her place at the magma vent, a giant lever of whalebone beside her. Above, through a mile of clear, cold water, the moon reached its zenith. She watched the silver disk, counting heartbeats. On the surface, in the harbor city, the crowd was a living, breathing beast of light and sound. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Lyra's tail fins trembled. 4, 3, 2. She threw her whole body against the lever. 1. The magma vent, triggered by the precise engineering, gave a deep, respectful thump. Not an eruption, but a pulse. The force traveled up the kelp ropes, a surge of kinetic energy racing through the dark water. In the midnight trench, the great bell of the Avalon shuddered. Its clapper, untouched for centuries, swung. Booming. The sound was not like air bell sound. It was a colossal, viscous, all-encompassing presence. A wave of pure resonance that rolled through the deep, making whalebone hum and coral chimes sing in sympathetic chorus. Every merfolk in the plaza felt it in their marrow. That was the signal. 1,000 trained cuttlefish, hidden in the rock faces, released their ink in unison, not black, but vibrant, pre-ingested hues of gold, silver, and scarlet. The water blossomed into a swirling, slow-motion firework display. Giant squid, coaxed with promises of rare shrimp, unfurled their immense arms, each tip fitted with stolen fishermen's glass floats that now housed captured anglerfish lights. They became living, undulating chandeliers. And then came the song. Not the siren calls of legend, but a New Year's chorus. Thousands of merfolk voices, harmonizing across registers no human could hear, singing the old ocean's turning hymn, but with a crescendo borrowed from the harbor's drunken, joyful shouts. The water itself seemed to vibrate with hope. Lyra swam to the highest spire. Below her, the merfolk danced, great swirling vortexes of tales and laughter, through clouds of gold cuttlefish ink, under the electric blue squid chandeliers. An elderly merman, his scales grayed, grasped her hand. "I heard the surface world's auld lang syne from a drowning sailor once, long ago," he rasped. "This is better." At that moment, a shower of objects began to sink through the water column from above. Discarded tokens from the human celebration, paper streamers that dissolved into lace, a single red glove that danced like a ghost, and finally, a pocket watch, its glass cracked, its hands forever frozen at midnight. Lyra caught it. She held the human timepiece, feeling its strange, mechanical finality, then looked at her living, breathing, singing world. Here, in the eternal, weightless dark, they had marked a moment. They had turned the tide with a stolen bell, engineered light, and their own boundless joy. She fastened the watch to a cord around her neck, a trophy from the world above. Then, with a flick of her iridescent tail, she dove into the swirling, singing heart of the celebration, the great deep bell's echo still thrumming in the water, a joyful noise to welcome the vast, uncharted year. The end. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.